Okay, and now we can start with the Q&A.
Jiwon, thank you for your presentation in English. Uh, it's such a fascinating and ambitious project, and it starts from the deeply personal, but then intersects with Korean culture and institutions, power, world events. Um, I'm very curious to know if a project like that just take for a long time. Was it inside of you for years until you found a way to maybe through your uncle's suitcase? I mean, I'd love to hear more about your uncle's suitcase, but I'm very curious about duration. Is it something that you thought about for, or did you suddenly have an impulse to engage with those archives and dove in?
Thank you for the question. I think I started this idea like since 2019. Uh, I searched on internet about some images of postcode where my uncle worked, and I searched my great grandfather's informations on internet. I could still find some information of him because he was the one of the independent movement activists, and there's some national records about it. So I could find some sources, but um, but it was very limited. So um, the real work started after the um, coming back to Korea, and intensively started to work in 2024, 23, 24. And I got the chance to get some presentation because um, I've selected uh, Artist of Year of 상상마당 Korean Photographers Fellowship, which is called a Scope. And for the presentation, I had to work intensively and finished anyway for exhibitions. Yeah, but it took a while. Yeah, yeah.
The question is to ask to tell more about the suitcase that we saw during the presentation. There was one picture of the suitcase in the presentation.
This case, my uncle, the eldest uncle, passed away when I was in Germany, so I couldn't personally meet him before he died. But when I came home, I found these brown Samsonite suitcases that are filled with the whole history of my great grandfather, from my great grandfathers, and the letters and the documents of very old things, like 100 years old, maybe. So um, by digging these documents, I developed the um, details of this project.
The idea of the suitcase, it's a bit, I think it feels to at least many of us like the box, the old box under the bed where you keep all the pictures from or postcards collected by the family over the years, and you use them to make an art project. So it we go from a very very intimate material in a way, memories, and you made it public through your project. What was the reaction from your family?
Oh, from my family?
Yeah.
My my father and mother, they like the exhibitions, but one thing they just grabbed the photos I installed um, um, in the gallery. So, but I think they appreciated what I made with the documents and the that I'm revealing and open to public because my father, for example, he's proud of the family's history. So yeah, I think they appreciate it. And suitcase is actually in Korea kind of symbol of white collar man. So it was doubled. Yeah.
Thank you very much for your presentation. Thinking of meaning, I was wondering, so we saw the material you use from your family history. Did you also talk to your family? It must be a huge family. So did you also get information from them or using conversations? And thinking secondly of the meaning, I mean, you said your parents, your father appreciates, but I would wonder the meaning you see in this is different from his meaning. So, how is the dialogue with your family?
Um, most of uh uncles are already passed away. They are very old. And my father is also at the middle of 80s. So I thought it's quite impossible to interview them because some of them are sick and so on. So I just asked to my father to hear about it. But the my viewpoint, the feministic viewpoint, I didn't explain the detail to my father because maybe what are you talking about? I was so nice to you, maybe. So I didn't tell about the detail, but yeah, maybe that's yeah, fine. So
When I read through your text before I come here, I quite interested on the you mentioned like the approaching with a heavy topic with the light gesture. Yeah, so I also amazed by the material you are using. So I certainly understood like what you know, but the topic itself is not really light. I have two questions. How audience receiving those heavy topics and how they react about it, what their reaction about, and second uh, is other works of you also approaching in this methodology way or yeah.
the lightness the light gesture, I meant the um to make this story, I just flipped the paper. So this gesture means the light gesture. So it's very easy, simple act, but it makes the whole story back and forth. So that's what I mean with the lightness and the this kind of methodology uh, I like to use in my whole artistic works because I think it has some humor. You know, I'm dealing with heavy topics, but I thought I need some humor to uh, invite people to see what is happening. So the other work that I didn't present it here, for example, in the hair of the artist, I visited European museum and I put my own hair in the museum space and I took photos secretly, um, like an like an intervention of unknown, um, uninvited artists. So like this, I'm trying to find some possibility to correct this.
Thank you for your presentation. It's so impressive and attractive, and I can understand more than your text you sent. And I have two questions. It's related. You insert suitcase, but behind the suitcase, you hang the clothes and printed artificial flowers. And you use in another photos many flowers.
Yeah.
With men, but power and powerful politicians, and there are flowers. And I found from there some part of feminism thinking. This, what you thought about it? What was your intention? The contrast between suitcase and hanging artificial flowers.
Actually, the hanging textile with printed flower. I wasn't very happy with it because there was a curator who forced me to do it. So it was not my own intentions. So
Why not?
sometimes I had to deal with.
Sure,
Yeah.
but why you were not happy about that?
Because I wanted to present the pictures on the plywood hard material, not the soft kind of textile, which is very flexible. So yeah, so that was not really my intention. Just sad to say this. And next question, the flowers. Yeah, I know it's very common cliche, but it's still a metaphor of women. We are very used to use in everyday life. Yeah, to show the background role as a woman. Yeah, I choose the flowers forms.
Means you don't want the flower texture not behind or background of the suitcase.
Even the idea of textile, like cotton.
Yeah, the material itself. Yeah, because at the beginning I understood that you didn't want to have the flowers behind, but the problem is that because she asked you to print that on the fabric, I see. Yeah. We have a comment. It's a comment, but I'm happy to read it. This comment comes from Beijing. Artie was one, his ARTCaffè is connecting node in Beijing. He said, oops, many of my art students are exploring themes of identity, meaning, and multi-generational connections. So your talk was very eye-opening and inspiring for them, because I think this is a very hot topic at the moment here in China and a bit everywhere in the world.
From I'm surprised by the amount of material you had access to, how much your family collected item, and as you mentioned, it's quite a hot topic. And I'm kind of wondering whether it's kind of was your family kind of original or unique in the. I assume that there are many letters missing because you were probably dislocated, and you said you traveled to Germany, but even though you don't include that in that work, but that's you mentioned several trips and of course the move from North Korea to say. So is that? I mean, I'm kind of wondering about the kind of, so maybe you got more materials because your family has been kind of all over the place and travel a lot, or is that more original of your family, or more typical? I don't know if there's anything you want to say about that aspect.
I think I was quite surprised when I opened the suitcase with the whole documents, but maybe I think eldest uncle, or the family had kind of gene to tell it to something. Yeah, I think. And and my parents kept the whole letters between them when he was abroad or so. So yeah, maybe it's family habit. Yeah.
Yes.
Hi.
I.
Hi, Jiwon.
Hey, Alex.
Hi, greetings from the US. I really love the talk and I appreciate how personal the work is. And I know that from my own experience, making work that's really personal can be very challenging to articulate because all the layers of emotion, and you're seeing it from a perspective that we can't view it from. I am wondering about the significance of some of the materials that you're using and how they relate to your own personal narrative and maybe the overall cultural narrative. In particular, I was wondering about the use of UV printing on plywood. I thought it made it for a very interesting image. To me, the quality of it kind of references memory, but I was just wondering what your take was and why you chose those materials.
Mm. Um. Uh. As I said before, I wanted to invite some organic pattern of the wood into my image. So it was kind of experiment for me as well. But I tried this for the first time and I liked it. And actually, the reversed images are printed on very vintage paper,
Mhm.
which is quite yellowy already. So I wanted to make this nostalgic image um, on my photo. So that's why.
Okay.
A nostalgic vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have the book here for, unfortunately, we cannot share it with those of you who are connecting online, but perhaps if you can grab it, we just show, because it's beautiful. And yeah, so here you can have also a better idea of what this, can you see the paper, Alex? I'm not sure.
Yeah, yes.
You see, it's very, and it has
Would
this fading vibe,
Yeah.
right? The
could
memory that is
could you
fading.
how does UV printing work? Just out of curiosity, how does that
Oh,
work?
I just uh, let the print lab do the job. So so I just sent the image to the lab and they printed.
Good.
Hey. Well, thank you so much. Beautiful presentation. Uh, you mentioned early on that you lived and studied in Germany in 10 years, right? Okay. So I'm about that time and about your practice in general, if it was a shift or a challenge or yeah, perhaps did you back then use archival materials from Germany, for instance? Yes.
Uh, At first, I moved to Germany to study art. Um, I'm very naturally introverted person. But then in Germany, I met new group of friends. They were performance group. So it was very ironic that the people in the group were very um, without hesitating, they did some crazy things in front of the public. They perform like naked and so on. But um in the university I studied, um Marina Abramovich was professor for a while. But when I was there, she wasn't in the school anymore. But her students was still there, and her influence were also still there. So I tried very new things with these friends, and it was very challenging. And then I thought about my own expression, because it I was not built for that kind of expression. So instead of doing something radical in front of the public, I um, made like after performance, like photographing the performance trace, or recording the video, the results of the performance. So that was like in another photographic series, The Hair of the Artist was also kind of that thing. So yeah, it changed a lot. Mm, but I did not work with um, historical archive before. So yeah, every time I try new things. So I think um I'm challenging every time when I do new works.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you very much. I have one more family personal question. I was just wondering while watching the very beautiful pictures, if there's any pictures of the side of the woman of the family. Like, did you find any in the archives of the family of anything related to your grandmother, for instance, or your great grandmother? Like, just when I was looking at the funeral, I said there were many pictures of your grandfather. Are there any of your grandmother's funeral, or?
There's a picture of my grandparents standing together. Yeah, this one. Yeah, yeah. And the notes behind this image was the same song of what my father sang.
For me, one of the really surprising, I'm sorry, and beautiful things about this project is the new take on the archive that you created with your father, where when you asked him to draw the memories. That was very surprising, and also then the song that you feature on the video, because it extends the archive inside towards the family. This is something new that you're creating with your father, and it's one other kind of range of archival material that in this case didn't exist really before you put your mind to it and collaborated with your father. Can you talk a little bit more about how that collaboration happened?
He's very family man, and we spend actually a lot of time singing and dancing together, and he could draw very well. And even when I was university student. He helped my assignment. So it was quite common in our family that I asked him to involve my projects. So yeah, that was quite natural. Yeah.
When he visited the exhibition in Busan, was he able to see his drawings displayed? Was that
Oh,
part of the experience?
yeah, I showed my artist book as well. So he's quite proud of himself.
Okay, thank you.
I was just wondering, have all your works been inspired by your personal experiences, or was it just the series?
Oh no, not really. I uh I was afraid to expose private family history to public. So usually I made myself as a material, but this time invited, not invite, but still stole the family's yeah materials.
Thank you. Do you define yourself as feminine artist?
But mm, I I think so. I think I have something in my blood. So my great grandfather was an activist, and maybe I have some kind of this in my blood.
Thank you.
But the not the radical way, but very mm, yeah.
This Asian subtlety.
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
The actual original meaning of the word. That's the thing, because I realized that, correct me if I'm wrong, because I've been here only less than 4 years. It seems that sometimes here in Korea, when you hear the word feminist or feminism, let's say it doesn't go with a very, it's not well perceived, let's say, because you said no, not the radical version of it, is it? Because, yeah.
It's weird. Yeah, it's shaped in different way, I think. So yeah.
Sometimes we forget what the original means. Equality, simple as that.
In Germany, even the guys saying they are feminists as well, but here is completely different.
I am under the impression that traditionally in Korean culture, families were not very supportive of their children being artists. But in your case, it sounds like your family's been very supportive. Is that true, or did you have challenges with them understanding and accepting your desire to study art and become a professional artist?
I dreamed to be an artist when I was 5 years old. So it was what I all dreamed about. So they knew that I want to be an artist. So it was quite natural to enter the art school and so on. But when I told them to go to Germany, they didn't want it to go there because after the graduation of my bachelor, it's like 24 or so. Then people normally get married, find some marriage materials. So, and at that time, I wanted to challenge for another life. So they didn't accept that. So we fought like 1 year long, and I sent the portfolio to Germany, and then I got the uh, received mail from German art school. So then I finally could go to Germany. So, but yeah, there is always struggle to living as an artist. Yeah, not only in Korea but generally. So
Okay, I just want to ask, were you satisfied with the way the project was executed, or did you have any thoughts that maybe I could have done this in a different way?
last September when I had this solo exhibition, I wasn't really prepared for the show, to be honest, because I was so uh in I was in hurried and I didn't finish my video when other works. So I just did what I can do at that moment. And then this year, in January, I had another chance to present this series. So I changed the whole displays. So mm,
In which way, just to give us an example? What did you change? What did you change?
um,
Fabric?
no, and I painted the whole wall in color and in different colors, like the wooden plate, the uh, plywoods, in peach color. It's like very uh feminine, uh feminine color, and the other were like this pressing the buttons in dark gray colored wall. So it has some contrast, stark contrast, a visual contrast on these displays. So I feel more happier than less time.
Sorry, not to pursue this topic anymore, but I'm going to ask anyway. So I'm just interested and curious in the collaboration between you and the curator, and how you kind of navigate those differences of opinion, and whether that's something you have to deal with often.
Yeah, sometimes I wish specific things, but they are not allowing me to do. Like, yeah, maybe they do not put their huge effort for to it, or the other people who is under um the who's behind the table, like higher people, like higher positioned people also. Yeah, it's had to compromise what I want to do, and yeah, but hope thankfully I guess I have next exhibition next year. Yeah, so I challenge new trials at that time. So I mean, I compromise sometimes, and yeah.
Knowing you will have another chance
Mm,
to do it the way you want to.
yeah, yeah. And fighting is so stressful. So
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. I think we can wrap up, right? And I can say class dismissed.